Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Steelers WR George Pickens dealing with grade 2 hamstring strain. The Pittsburgh Steelers didn't get much time to enjoy their 27-14 victory over the Cleveland Browns before getting some unfortunate news. Wide receiver George Pickens missed the first game of his career in Week 14 with a hamstring injury, and it seems likely he could miss more time. Jerry Dulac of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette reported Monday afternoon that Pickens is expected to miss Week 15. Brooke Pryor of ESPN reports that Pickens is considered to have a grade 2 hamstring strain. A grade 1 strain is considered mild, while a grade 3 hamstring strain is the most severe, per the UK's National Health Service. In the team's first game without Pickens, QB Russell Wilson went 15 of 26 passing for 157 yards and 2 touchdowns, completing a pass to 8 different players. Pat Freiermuth was the team's leading receiver in Week 14 with a 3-48-1 line. W.R. Van Jefferson led the team with 35 total snaps split out wide, followed by Scotty Miller, 32. Mike Williams, meanwhile, who'd been announced as a starter in this game, played just 16 snaps out wide, 17 total on the day, a bit surprising. One would look at Williams' inability to earn snaps over Miller specifically, who's been inactive in 3 of the past 5 games, as a concerning sign of his lack of progress within the offense, or faith that Arthur Smith and company have in him to take on a significant role. Also interesting is the fact that W.R. Calvin Austin played just 23 snaps, though perhaps his diminished role was due to the fact that he was limited to start the week with a concussion, though he did clear protocol in time to play. Pickens' absence was a bit of a surprise despite being listed as questionable ahead of the game, as Tomlin indicated in his pre-game interview with CBS that he didn't anticipate it would be an issue, but following the game he shared that they didn't want a little problem to become a big problem. Given their 10-3 record and likelihood of going to the playoffs, can secure a playoff berth with a win in Week 14, the team appears to be taking a more cautious approach. Hamstring injuries vary in severity. Obviously, Corey Trice Jr. missed 9 games on IR with a hamstring injury before eventually being activated on IR just last week. Meanwhile, Justin Fields missed just a single game, plus rested over the bye, with his earlier this year, and Nick Herbig missed a 4-game stretch. Though the passing game had its struggles without Pickens in the lineup, including a drop in efficiency across the board, the team had gone through an entire week of practices and already installed the offense by the time there was an indication Pickens would miss. A full week of knowledge that Pickens would be unavailable may force OC Arthur Smith to make some more proactive adjustments to the installed game plan that could further mask some of the deficiencies the roster has in terms of receiving depth. Steelers visit Philly amid Eagles' tension following A.J. Brown's complaints about passing game. As the Pittsburgh Steelers prepare to visit Philadelphia this weekend, they are hardly walking into the city of brotherly love. The 11-2 Eagles will welcome the Steelers Sunday during a 9-game win streak. However, all is not harmonious at the other end of the Pennsylvania Turnpike. After Sunday's 22-16 win over the Carolina Panthers, wide receiver A.J. Brown was asked what could improve with the offense. His one-word response was, passing. Brown was then asked if it's hard to get into a rhythm as a receiver when the offense is only throwing 21 times. Incredibly tough, Brown replied after just 4 targets. Pressed further, Brown was also asked what the conversations were like on the sideline with quarterback Jalen Hurts. Brown said, "There's not too much conversation." During a radio show on WIP, linebacker Brandon Graham didn't seem to like how Brown aired out his quarterback. "The person that's complaining needs to be accountable," Graham said. "I know, 1, Hurts is trying and, 11, Brown could be better with how he responds to things. They were friends before this, but things have changed. I understand this, as life happens. But it's the business side that we have to make sure that we don't let the personal get in the way." Graham made it sound like this wasn't the first time there has been friction between Hurts and Brown. We know it's an issue, Graham continued. Everyone has seen some things. But we need to be able to talk things out as men. We need to let personal stuff go, and let's get right for this game. Because a lot of times it's just a conversation that needs to be had. But the person with the problem has got to want to talk to the other person instead of others. Graham later told ESPN.com that he was wrong to comment on the matter publicly. I made a mistake and I assumed that it was something that it wasn't, Graham said. I just want to win so bad that I don't just want to use the media when we need to talk about something and we can fix the problem ourselves. I didn't add to it in a good light, so that's my bad. FS1's Emmanuel Acho put together a bunch of clips showing Hurts missing Brown on open looks from that Carolina game, which may have fed into Brown's consternation. Even former Eagles receiver Terrell Owens got into it with retired Philly QB Donovan McNabb about the situation. It seems like this topic of conversation hit a little too close to home for T.O. Statistically, the Eagles are 7th in the NFL at 371.1 yards per game. They are also 8th at 26.3 points per game. Yet, at 180.6 passing yards per contest, Philly ranks ahead of only New England, 171.5, in the entire NFL. Brown is 4th in yards per catch at 17.4 and 17th in yards, with 836. That said, he is only 47th in receptions with 48, and has just 4 touchdowns. The Eagles are leaning heavily on running back Saquon Barkley. The Penn State product has 1,623 yards on 266 carries this year. He leads the league in both those categories. Steelers' Justin Fields named potential target for AFC foe. Although they are 10-3, the Pittsburgh Steelers have questions to answer behind center because both quarterbacks Russell Wilson and Justin Fields will be free agents this offseason. In all likelihood, the Steelers will not be able to retain both signal callers. If that's the case, then Wilson is the front runner to stay since he's led the Steelers to a 6-1 record as a starter. That will allow Fields to test free agency in March. On December 9, the Bleacher Report NFL scouting department argued that the New York Jets should be interested in signing Fields. So much of what the Jets want to do this offseason will depend on whether Rodgers is back and who the head coach is going to be, wrote the BR staff. But if the partnership is over, then the Jets may want to find a bridge quarterback who can allow them to take their time with a rookie at the position. That might be a good job for Justin Fields. His run with Pittsburgh provided enough intrigue to get another crack at being a starter. If anything, his athleticism and running ability would give the offense a higher floor while a rookie prepares to start. Fields is 4-2 as Pittsburgh starter this season. He posted the first 3-game winning streak of his career in the first 3 weeks of the 2024 regular season. Fields showed terrific potential in his 3 seasons with the Chicago Bears to begin his career. But he led the Bears to a 10-28 record in large part because of all the turnovers he had. With the Steelers, though, Fields did a terrific job of eliminating those mistakes in a small sample. In his 6 starts with Pittsburgh, Fields had 1 interception and 1 lost fumble. He still has developing to do as a passer. Fields also has a career-high 65.8% completion percentage this season, but in his 6 starts, he regularly missed open receivers. Fields also doesn't read defenses at an elite level. But he's only 25 years old, and his running ability masks his deficiencies as a passer. Fields has averaged 6 yards per carry in his career. He rushed for 1,143 yards while posting a league-best 7.1 yards per rush in 2022. Because he still has developing to do, it's unlikely that an NFL team will just simply sign Fields to be their franchise quarterback without any competition. And you fan? What do you think of the situation of Justin Fields? Leave your opinion in the comments.